Welcome to Shooby Dooby Doo Up, a podcast where we talk about pop music, specifically by deep diving a randomly chosen UK top 10 singles chart from the past.
Not this week.
Not this week, not last week. I'm James Cook.
I'm Andy Robinson.
But not this week. Oh, no, you are. You are still Andy. Yeah.
So this is a half a dozen records that we put out in our Patreon episode for our beloved Patreon members who chuck us a bit of money, where we discuss half a dozen records that never ever made the top 10. And there's often some surprises in there.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's surprises in this half of
Not
this
in this
one.
one. Not in this one.
But there are some interesting songs, and I'm going to get very misty-eyed about a song from the past in this episode. So this is the kind of thing that goes on for our Patreon members. Go to patreon.com/shubipodcast if you want to join. This is what they get every week. But as we're away, we thought, hell, we'll just put these out so we don't leave you hanging while we're on holiday. So enjoy, and regular episodes will be resuming very, very soon.
It's a new entry at number 31. It's The with I Saw the Light. I chose this one, James.
You did. Now, is it the, or is it the, or is it the, or is it the?
I see. What do you say?
Probably the.
I think probably that then. I've heard it described as that many, many times. I chose this record, James, because I bought a cassette back in the day in the mid-90s, a cheap one. That's why I bought it. And it was them covering Hank Williams songs. This is a Hank Williams song. This was on the cassette. And I thought, at least we can talk about Hank Williams, if not the. We're never going to talk about Hank Williams, usually.
Well, do you know what the name of that cassette was?
Hanky Panky.
Yeah, of course. What a silly name for it. But well done. Well done. It's a very spiritual song. Is that right to say?
Yeah.
It's called I Saw the Light. It's all about Jesus and being in the church.
Yeah. Unusual for the to be singing about that type of thing, but I suppose that was the appeal of digging into Hank Williams' oeuvre.
Yeah. I really got into this song this week.
Oh, good.
It reminds me of sort of late era John Spencer Blues Explosion, or a bit Bad Seedsy as well.
Yes. It's densely produced. It's loud, isn't it? You know, it's appealing, the sound of it. I wandered so aimless, filled with sin, I wouldn't let my dear Saviour in, and Jesus came like a stranger in the night. Praise the Lord, I saw the light.
Cool. I'm delighted for that they're doing that.
I mean, when they sing that type of song, you can't help but, because they're so cynical, and a lot of the other records, you can't help but wonder if they're taking the mickey a bit, you know, from that religion. I think that's in the mix in this one that isn't in the Hank Williams one. It sounds more authentic and genuine, whatever that means.
You think this version's a bit more arch?
Yeah. Not bad for it. It's not a bad, it's not a bad take on a record.
No.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the drummer on this record.
Please.
Brian McLeod.
Oh, yeah. Because
not only did he co-write A Change Would Do You Good and Every Day's a Winding Road.
Did he?
Yes.
Right.
But he also plays drums on a piece of music that I think got a lot of people through lockdown.
What's that one?
That's the theme tune to The American Office.
Oh, yeah, right there. Yeah. Either that or whatever the crocodile one was.
What?
I got confused.
What are you talking about?
You know, what was that big one?
Crocodile Shoes by Jimmy Nail.
No.
What are you talking about?
Talking about it. Don't worry, that's going.
Are you all right?
That's going out. Don't worry. What was the record?
You in a home?
Cobra, the Cobra one, Cobra King. Huh? Anyway,
Tiger King.
I try and blank lockdown out, James.
Tiger King.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
That's what I meant.
Crocodile.
I didn't watch it, did I? I didn't watch it. Do you know, I get emails from Netflix now and again. I got one the other day saying, Andrew, you haven't finished watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. And I thought I had finished watching it. I turned it off because it was rubbish. And to be nagged by Netflix, you have to stick with their terrible programs right to the bitter end, or you're going to get digitally harassed. Thank you very much for listening to our Patreon.
My kids watched The Summer I Turned Pretty. They were big fans of it. I think they should do a follow-up, which is tonally different, where everyone in the cast gets bitten by a zombie, and call it The Autumn I Turned Hideous.
Okay. That's right. Why are we wasting our time doing this when we could be sending that into Netflix? All right, so it's full of religion. This song, it's full of
Yeah.
archetypal images. I was a fool to wander and stray, for straight is the gate and narrow the way. The idea of staying on the straight and narrow is so called that path because it's one less trod.
So tell me about Hank Williams.
Tell you about Hank Williams. I mean, are you familiar with Irv?
I'm sure I'm familiar with some of his songs. Yeah.
You would know some of them. Let's do some off the top of my head. He had loads of hits in the 50s, but not him singing because he's a country artist, but loads of people like Tony Bennett did Cold, Cold Heart in a much more sophisticated way, I suppose. He had I've read a great book about Hank Williams once where his musicians are playing with him and he'd always say, keep it vanilla, boys. So he didn't want anything clever or fancy or what you might deem to be showing off. He just wanted something to speak straight to the heart. And it's a cliche. I often wonder this about Hank Williams. How much is it because that's what people say about him and it develops into the myth, but also his songs do speak directly to the heart, I believe. So if you're into religion, maybe this one will speak to you. But what else do I know about Hank Williams? He also died in the back of a Cadillac after doing a gig, so he's the archetypal rock star in some ways, that notion of excess.
Okay.
Not leading to the palace of wisdom in his case, but, a tragic life. He's got so many great songs, Hank Williams.
Like what?
So he's got, as I mentioned, off the top of my head, one of my favourites he does, he's got, why don't you love me like you used to do? How come you treat me like a worn-out shoe? My hair is still curly and my eyes are still blue. Why don't you love me like you used to do? I mean, lines like that, my hair is still curly and my eyes are still blue. Brilliant.
Because that's the only thing. Nothing else has gone.
No, we do this, don't we? When as comedians, patrons will know that, hopefully. I think that sometimes when a club doesn't book me anymore, I sing that song. Why don't you love me like you used to? My hair's still curly and my eyes are still blue. So he's got that. Well, I mean, he's got so many songs. I'm a rolling stone, all alone and lost. For this life of sin, I must pay the cost. And by my honey, I'm walking down the lost highway. He writes very archetypally, I think, and sort of not so specific, but something that, speaks to everybody. He was huge, Hank Williams.
Massive he was. Yeah. I saw the light as well. I'm just trying to think of it from my own sort of, dead inside atheist point of view.
Yeah. You don't like it when pop stars go on about finding God?
I don't mind it at all.
Okay. I've read you wrong.
It's trying to think about it. It's like a moment of clarity, isn't it? The moment of realization. Now I get it.
Yes, whether you aspire that to God's influence or just a general awakening of the spirit, it doesn't really matter to me. We all know the feeling of I saw the light, I was a fool to wander and stray, for straight is the gate and narrow the way. We all know that feeling of trying to get back onto the straight and narrow.
We should be doing video. I saw the light. We're doing video now.
We're doing video for some reason. I saw the shite in this case.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Down 20 places to number 96, having peaked at number 76. It's Range Life by Pavement.
Now, I've made some notes about this record, Range Life by Pavement. What numbers did it get to?
It got to number 76.
All right. And the other note I've made is let James talk about this.
I chose a Pavement song not too long ago in the bonus tracks, didn't I?
You love the Pavement?
I do love the Pavement.
Like Adele, you are chasing them continually.
They didn't have much in the way of chart hits. And had this been any other of their songs, I would have been very tempted not to pick it.
Like I do with Paul McCartney occasionally, because I mention him so often that we don't need to do it all the time. So what made you choose this one then?
This is Range Life. This is different. This is special.
Does it speak to you? Deep down?
Yeah, it does. So the story goes like this. I remember being at college, my first year of college, in my business studies class with my mates from school. And then there was this other bloke called Phil who was he looked older, he wasn't older, but he looked cool. He had long hair, he had a goatee and everything. And he was listening to his Walkman, I suppose, at the time. Like, this was early on in the course. And we were like, what are you listening to, Phil? And he went, Pavement. And we went, that's a silly name for a band. Then about a month later, I was in HMV in Solihull, near my college. And I was going through the bargain bin of CD singles. And there was Range Life for 49p, the single.
Worth a punt.
Oh, worth a punt. Took it home, played it, and then I was like, this is me now. This is who I am now. I'm the this now.
You've talked about this before. I like it. What is it about Pavement and what they represent that speaks so personally to you?
I think you listen to this song. Well, Andy, had you heard this song before this week?
If I did, I didn't remember it. So,
well, I'd be interested to know what your impressions were when you what were you thinking when you went into it, and what did you think when you started listening to it?
What was the name of the last Pavement song you chose?
Shady Lane.
All right, then. I had a similar experience to this where I listened to it and thought it's amateurish, which is fine. That's not a criticism. That's their aesthetic.
That's their thing,
Yeah. So that was going on. And then just listening to it throughout the week, this one, I began to think, maybe I'm like Pavement. It worked for me this week, absolutely. I don't know why as well, if you know what I mean. The lyrics I always find vague at the best of times with Pavement. The tunes and the thing can take a bit of time to kick in because of the amateurishness of them. So yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why this one worked for me, but I'm delighted it's in my life. Thanks.
Lo-fi is, I think, the term that was being used for us at the time, and something about the amateurishness of it, the kind of, we're not really taking this seriously. We haven't bothered to learn these instruments particularly well. And my God, we're not going to sing. Yeah. That really appealed to me in a sort of world of quite polished pop music.
So it was the imperfection that you liked about it.
It's the imperfection of it, but also the slightly sort of sardonic, laconic style of the lyrics. You talk about that the lyrics don't really mean anything. And in Shady Lane, they're all over the bloody shop. And a lot of Pavement, Stephen Malkmus famously never talks about what his songs mean. I think in Range Life, they're more kind of there and on the nose.
I understood it more, and I got the sentiment absolutely a lot clearer.
Yeah, and now, God knows how many thousands of times I've listened to this song over the years. Yeah. Now, doing what I do for a job, and listening to After the Glow, the scene, the stage, the set. Talking comes slow, but there's one thing I'll never forget. Hey, you got to pay your dues before you pay the rent. I mean, my account at the dues bank better be in fucking credit by now.
Yeah, right.
But that, over the turnstiles and out into traffic, there's ways of living. It's the way I'm living, right or wrong. It's all that I can do.
Yeah, and the video shows them all playing in a band. Very much the video would portray Pavement as a gigging on the road working band, so it made absolute sense with this song.
Yeah. And does that not chime with you as a comic, a working comic? That kind of after the glow, the scene, the stage, the set, talking comes slow. That after the show is finished, that slight slump afterwards.
Yeah.
Which in the second verse,
run from the pigs,
the fuzz, the cops, and the heat. Pass me your gloves, this crime, and it's never complete until you snort it up and shoot it down. You're never going to feel free. And I was like, ooh, drugs, exciting.
Right. And the chorus, of course, which is a repetitive mantra of I want to range life, if I could settle down, if I could settle down.
What do you think a range life is?
Sorry. I suppose living on the range, like in the Americas, isn't about being, you could have called it, I want a cottage house with a white picket fence. It's that notion, isn't it, I think?
If I could settle down.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah, it can't. Reminded me of that joke in the Seinfeld film about Glenn Miller and his musicians.
Yeah.
I should say that now, shouldn't we, if you don't know it? Do you want to do it? You're much better at telling jokes than me, James.
Glenn Miller's orchestra, they're flying between gigs. There's a storm, so the plane has to land in a muddy field during the storm, and they all have to get out in the muddy field, and they're still in their band uniforms, and they have to grab their instruments from the hold and everything. And they're lugging their luggage all across this muddy field in the rain, and they pass this farmhouse, and they look through the window, and there's a family in the farm, and there's a table full of food, and they're about to eat, and there's a roaring fire in the fireplace, and they all look happy, and it's this glorious scene. And one of the musicians outside turns to his mate and goes, "How do people live like that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that feeling for sure, don't you?
Yep. Yep, a little bit. Yeah. So, yeah, the first two verses are that, and then the third verse gets quite specific.
Go on.
Out on tour with the Smashing Pumpkins, Nature Kids, they don't have no function. I don't understand what they mean, and I could really give a fuck. The Stone Temple Pilots are elegant bachelors. They're foxy to me. Are they foxy to you? I will agree. They deserve absolutely nothing. Nothing more than me. It gets quite bitter at the end.
It's a kicking, isn't it, between Smashing Pumpkins and Stone Temple Pilots towards the end, and that's to be applauded as well. You know, we, when we do Eminem, when we inevitably do a chart from 2000s and Eminem's in there, you know, we give it just for the bravery, really, isn't it? Of, you know, I'm going to say this, I might not mean it, I might mean it. Very, very appealing.
It's all because they were touring on the Lollapalooza tour with the Smashing Pumpkins and the Stone Temple Pilots, and they didn't get on. And eventually Billy Corgan got them kicked off the tour. And apparently when Malkmus first revealed the lyrics to the rest of the band, according to Scott Cannersberg, Spiral Stairs, the guitarist, he says, "We almost lost our lunch from laughing so much." Nice. And at the time, you know, I quite liked the Smashing Pumpkins and the Stone Temple Pilots. But, you know, I'm like, does that mean I can't like them anymore because Pavement? So buying that single that I happened to stumble upon in that record shop then got me into Pavement, and then got me into bands that are a bit like Pavement. And then it also meant when I left university, I became friends with a guy who's also was into that sort of music. And, you know, those type, you know, had I not gone into that shop that day, would I never have bought it? Would I never have got into Pavement, or would I have found them eventually anyway?
I miss record shops. Perversely, I don't miss the money I used to spend in them sometimes. But, you know, Noel Gallagher said this in an interview once. I really liked it. He was on about people don't want to spend a tenner on an album, you know, several years ago. Because even that notion has kind of gone now, hasn't it, that people might consider it. But he said, you know, people will buy 2 coffees for a tenner, but if you buy an album for £10, it could inform the way you think, the way you dress, the rest of your life. And there is something in that, isn't there, about the notion of the record shop and the random purchase you get, which can be a big. I know people see stuff online, it gets forced into their suggested lists, you know, so it still goes on, of course. I'm not being that daft and old, but yeah, the record shop as a place of discovery, and the purchasing of it, I think, always makes a difference. I think it's best psychiatry, if you like, counselling, whatever you call it. If you're not paying for it, I don't think you're as invested, is my belief. And I think there's something true about music in that case. If you've bought it and paid for it and splashed out on it and took a punt, you're going to relate to it differently, aren't you, as opposed to...
And you have it, and you have it. You have a physical... You have the thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I like you liking Pavement and identifying with them.
Thanks.
Number 85 this week. Coming up the rear, it's Rockers Hi-Fi with What a Life.
What a life, eh?
What a life. I chose this, James, partially because loads of the other records have been in the top 10, but I clicked on this. I thought it was interesting, at least. I'd never heard it.
Oh, okay. You'd never heard it before? No, me neither. I thought you might have heard it before.
No.
Because where are they from, Rockers Hi-Fi?
Don't know. Birmingham?
Yep.
Are they?
Yep. In fact, you know the pub that's down the road from you?
Yes. And you?
Yeah. There's a sort of connection between this group and that pub.
Okay. I thought that pub had a connection with UB40 and Bentley Rhythm Ace and Rockers Hi-Fi as well. What's the connection?
Well, I think one of Bentley Rhythm Ace are in Rockers Hi-Fi.
Okay.
It's quite hard to find out information.
Yes.
Basically,
I'm sorry for putting this on your doorstep.
Richard Whittingham,
Yeah.
who was known as DJ Dick, who used to DJ at the Rum Runner,
Okay.
would
Home
then
of Duran, etc.
start I don't know what, a collective, an organisation called Left Foot,
Okay.
who do loads of events at a local pub to us. I mean,
And
it's
all-
literally around the corner from your house.
And all around the country, Left Foot do
Yeah,
club
yeah,
nights
yeah.
all over. Yeah,
But they're
right.
sort of based around there. So I thought, oh, maybe it had one of those moments of going, is Andy in this band?
It's news to me, all this stuff. Okay. You
So they're
said
quite-
about Airhead once that I might have been in that band. I like it when you think I'm in a band for some reason.
I thought, is Andy mates with these guys? He might be mates with them.
No.
It would make sense. They're around the same area at the same time, roughly the same age.
I chose it because of the life nature of it. I always like a record that goes on about life and makes you consider this terrible existence on this spinning rock, James.
Keep it light, though.
Oh my God. So it goes on. I didn't quite know what was going on about. Life, the ultimate stage, learning to act from an early age. Nothing is wrong because nothing is right. Living your life, that's the ultimate fight.
I mean, the lyrics are a bit nebulous, aren't they?
A bit what? Nebulous.
They're a bit poem that's been sent to the local newspaper, I think. And the word strife does a lot of heavy lifting. Songwriters must thank the Lord that there is the word strife in the world, so they can rhyme it with life.
And you never really hear people say strife apart from when I think it's about the blue. You hear songs when people go, "I'm so blue," and I think that hasn't been said since 1942.
Yeah, I mean, as the Stockholm syndrome of this podcast has proven, I liked it more the more I heard it.
It's one of them.
I don't know who it is doing the rapping, but they sound like, well, we couldn't get Tricky, but this guy will do it.
All right then. Let me ask you some of the philosophical points that they throw up and see your thoughts on them, James.
All right.
You know where you're going and you're on the right track. Have you ever felt that?
No. Not a clue where I am.
You never lose your vision or displace your goal. I mean, the way we were both arguing about the editing of this podcast, we could say we did lose our vision and displace our goal. Do you keep it running and not allow it to get cold?
What are you talking about?
Talk about you and your way you live your tawdry life.
Yeah. I'm all over the place.
Do you feel in yourself that it's time to go?
Yeah.
I
think we might be there.
Hey, nip over to Spotify, listen to Rockers Hi-Fi, and we have taken their advice. It's time to go.
Yeah. You can be the narrator, never the destroyer, more the creator. Like a scientist, explore your mind. Whether in a college bar or standing on the front line. I was in a college bar, I think, at this point.
Yes, I've never stood on a front line in my life. I mean, it's a winner, this record. It's fine, isn't it? I would never... I probably won't listen to it again, but it did a job for me this week, considering this futile existence.
My God, this has got existential. It's existential.
Do you know, James, I've been watching far too many. We're recording this an April Fool's Day.
Yep.
Let's play a trick on everybody first.
No, because this won't go out until the end of May, I don't
It
think
doesn't
so.
matter because it's April the 1st still, so it doesn't matter. Next week, we've got Jimi Hendrix appearing as a guest, haven't we?
Yeah.
What's my point?
Right.
Oh no! As of April the 1st, I've been watching loads of videos, haven't I, about life and the bleeding war. Freaking myself out at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, don't do that.
Can't help it. It's done. And then I listen to the top 10 playlist and think, oh, everything's all right. I love Celine Dion. Why don't you think twice, Donald Trump, before you go in?
Yeah.
And she was with an ice sculpture. Donald Trump likes a bit of ice.
He does. You're right. This chart did predict the future in many ways.
Yes. So thank you very much for listening to this Nostradamus of pop, telling us how we're going to be living 30 years later. We're always very grateful for your support and your money.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. We hope you've enjoyed this. We'll be back with more Shooby Dooby Doo Wop very soon. Until then.
was going to say we'll be back with more Bop Bop Shoe Up soon, but we've messed up the ending.
All right, let's do that again.
Nah.
And soon we'll be back with more Shooby Dooby Doo Up.
Bop Bop. Don't stop.